the part of like the fitness saving my life when I was deep into the party scene and me not like I didn't want to be there anymore, but I didn't have anything to grasp onto.
Mm.
Like the only thing I could grasp onto was that party lifestyle. And then I started slowly working out. And come to find out that you can't really work out if you're hungover. And once I started to feel that like A and B, like that different edge, I was like, I want more of that. I want more of this. So I lost a lot of friends. I learned how to say no, I'm not going
Mm.
out because I'm going to go work out.
Right.
And
Driven by purpose, fueled by passion. My words got power, my thoughts have action. Motivation, stay gracious. That's greatness. Be audacious. Motivation. Be audacious. Innovation. Be audacious. Inspiration. Be bold. Motivation. Be
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, where we empower you to live your best audacious life ever. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, and I want to sincerely thank you for choosing to spend part of your day with us. Your commitment to growth, reflection, and becoming more is what fuels the space as well as this movement. Now, life is a remarkable journey, much like climbing a mountain. The summit represents our goals, our dreams, and our vision of who we are becoming. But as we make our way upward, we often discover that the real transformation doesn't only happen at the top, it happens in the climb itself. The stumbles, the pauses, the moments where courage is tested and resilience is built. True growth is born through challenge. It's in the facing adversity, taking small intentional steps forward, and leaning into discomfort that we uncover our strength. And along the way, our lifelines are the communities we build, the people who remind us that we're not alone, and the practices that reconnect us with who we truly are. Today, I'm honored to introduce a remarkable guest. Teresa Bowser is with us. Teresa is an elite ultra trail runner and passionate advocate for women's empowerment. Her journey certainly hasn't been easy. After battling a eating disorder and navigating profound personal adversity, Teresa's emerged with a powerful mission to help women reclaim their voice, build their courage, embrace authenticity, and break through the limiting barriers that hold them back. Her story is one of resilience, restoration, and real transformation, and it aligns beautifully with everything Audacious Living stands for. So without any further ado, let's step into this inspiring and heartfelt conversation with Teresa Bowser. Enjoy. Hey, Teresa, thank you for joining me here today on the Audacious Living Podcast. I so appreciate you being here.
thank you so much. I'm so excited. I've been listening to your podcast and this is
Oh,
amazing. What an honor. So I'm
thank
very
you. I am privileged to be able to engage in these really cool conversations with people, and the idea of us being in a conversation now, someone to have the opportunity to listen. I call it eavesdrop into what we're conversing about, and use that to put themselves on a better trajectory. It's a blessing to be a part of that process. So I got to thank you for helping me brighten my day, man. So it's good. One of the things that when we talk, I mean, we always and often here we talk about living that best audacious life, right? And the analogy that I oftentimes start with is just recognizing that we all are on our own individual pathway, and on that pathway you're going to have your own set of obstacles, your challenges, your circumstances that will could impede, impact, slow you down. But those who are the most audacious push through, right? Those that continue to take those bold steps and put those one foot in front of the other, recognizing that they're moving towards something, to their own individual greatness. And so, maybe as a starting point, Teresa, because I know certainly help, and you specifically help women to develop their courage and be bold and go, fight through adversity, is a big part of the work that you do. So perhaps as a starting point, I can get you to introduce yourself to our audience, talk about the work that you do, and what's got you to the point that you're at now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, my name's Teresa Bowser. I live here in Asheville, North Carolina. It's a beautiful place to live. And what got me here was growing up, I went through adversity. I was always the one who was a fighter, but very much alone. I was never kind of fast forward in the backup right now. I am an elite athlete. I do ultra trail running. I am currently training for a 100-mile race, and it took a lot of steps to get there. I did gymnastics. I developed a severe eating disorder very early in life,
Hmm.
and that kind of catapulted me into never really knowing who I was. I lost my identity. I was strong in the fact that I always persevered. Like there's always this burning fire inside of me. I just didn't know what to do with it yet. Like I didn't
Gotcha.
know what it meant. So moving forward into college, I got very deep into the party, the drug scene, and even lost my identity even more. So battling this eating disorder with this crazy life that I threw myself in. I always still knew that I was not meant to be there. So having that burning desire inside of me, it led me to take certain steps. Like I
Hmm.
fought day in and day out to get me out of these situations, even when I didn't have a path. I didn't know a plan. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I wasn't supposed to be here. So day to day, it was step by step. And over the course of time, I took these massive, bold moves and made these really huge decisions. And ultimately, that led me here. And now I do know what got me there. Like I have
Hmm.
the principles, I have the tools, I have connected with so many of those lost quotation marks items in my life, and now I can implement them into my own life and to others.
Mm. Certainly love the journey and the path and steps that you took to get there. I want to go back. You said you struggled with your identity, not knowing who you were. What sort of kept you in that space of unknown? Is there something specifically, or do you can you identify that?
Absolutely. The struggle with my eating disorder, I am 40 now. I developed it when I was about 10 years old, and it just took over. Like when and nobody knew. So I was living this by myself up until about 2 years ago when I finally made the big, bold decision. And it was such a turning point for me to speak it out loud. And it was me releasing that for the first time. And by releasing that, it allowed me to be like, okay, I don't have this anymore. This is not who I am. Because up until then, everything was perceived, visualized through that lens. Like
Okay.
how I woke up, how I stood, how I sat, my friends, what I ate, what my goals were. Everything was through that lens, and I let it stay there. I let it control me. I thought it was I was controlling it, but
Right.
ultimately it controlled my life for decades.
Wow. It's a long time.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
So when I got clear
mhm.
on not being like this person that I just had like this egotistical like version of who I wanted to be. And I stepped into the identity, the emotions, the feelings, the rawness, the realness of who I was actually searching for. They
Mhm.
weren't the same people. So identity shift into that transformed my life.
Got you. That I'm thinking that point as you're talking, I'm just thinking that when you come to that point of realization, how much of an aha moment that was for you. Can you kind of describe sort of the steps leading up to that instance?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was competing in Spartan races for quite some time, and that
So
brought
you
me
always were is sort of in the always were an athlete then, is that
not really.
okay?
So I did gymnastics when I was little, did cheerleading when I was in high school, but then I led the party lifestyle in
Got you.
college. After that, I was always active. Like I was always moving around as a kid, but I was never that like athlete persona. Absolutely not. I always kid like I ran to the bar and that was like as much running as I was gonna do. Um, and even signed up for a 5K once and I didn't even show up. I was like, I'm not doing yeah, absolutely not. So I
Got
did
it.
I saw a Spartan ad on Facebook one day. I'd never heard of Spartans before in my life. And if you're not familiar with Spartans, it's the muddy obstacle courses where you're climbing under barbed wire over fences. And I was like, that looks fun. I want to do that. But it was the next weekend. And I was like, well, I can't do it next weekend. If it comes back to Asheville, I'll do it then. Little did I know it comes every year. I had no
Right.
idea. So I
Right.
set myself up for success. So it came back. I started training, and through that, I was getting out of a very 8 year long toxic relationship, and I dug into that. I got sober. I started training, but with that, it was feeding the egotistical side of me of I just want to be on the podium. That's all that mattered,
Right.
and I just want to be skinny. So I was training really hard. And I did. I got on the podium. I was doing great. And then COVID happened. And I think that was such a blessing in disguise because it shut down all of Spartans. So all of a sudden, again, I'm like, who am I now? I can't compete. Like, what am I? And a
Right.
friend dared me to go run a 50-mile ultra running race. And I was like, what? 50 miles? Like, I guess so. Let's go do this. And history was made. I fell in love with trail running. Um, I a part of me like was so lost on the trails. Like when you're out there in the mountains and like rugged mountains doing technical hard trails out there for hours, you're so stripped in every single good way. Like the mountain doesn't care what you want that day. It's going to show you what you need. So you have
Mm.
to show up for it, and it mirrors your life so well. And I was doing a huge run with a group of girls that I've never met. This was like when I was first getting into running, and the eating disorder was still around me. Like I was still battling it. And it's like this little thing, but you have to eat when you're on these big massive runs.
Right.
You have to fuel yourself. And I had like 3 packets of honey with me. And they were like, "You're not eating?" I'm like, "Oh, it's fine. Like this is fine." But that's all I was allotting myself that day. We were out there for 12 hours and
Wow.
did like 30 miles. And the first time that I felt the identity, like the feeling, the energetics behind it, I didn't know these girls until that day. And I just saw them. Like I witnessed like their joy, their
Hmm.
happiness, like their love, their passion. Like they were vibrant. And I'm like, it was so simple. I was like, they're eating. Like like it was like, and it was just this big aha
Right.
moment, and
Hmm.
it changed the course of my life forever. Like in that moment, I was just like, I'm over here eating honey packets, wanting to be this person that I have
Right.
chased for my entire life. That's what I want, like that energy. And I started chasing the energy. And I
Mm.
started showing up in my runs. Like what I do today dictates tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I have to do this. I had to find the courage. I had to tap into myself more
Right.
than ever. And it just skyrocketed. And that was the very, very beginning.
And is this why you say that fitness saved your life?
It did. Fitness saved my life, and then ultra running healed me because
Teresa, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I have to tell you, I really wanted to slow this down for a second. That statement, and I'm no exaggeration. When you said fitness saved my life, I felt goosebumps a moment there. That it's literally that. It is a really, really, really powerful statement. I wonder if you could, and I just wanted to pause it because it's like
yeah,
I'm literally feeling a physiology, like oh my gosh, like that's huge. Describe what that was felt like for you. What's going on?
I that was another pivotal moment too. So the part of like the fitness saving my life when I was deep into the party scene and me not like I didn't want to be there anymore, but I didn't have anything to grasp onto.
Mm.
Like the only thing I could grasp onto was that party lifestyle. And then I started slowly working out. And come to find out that you can't really work out if you're hungover. And once I started to feel that like A and B, like that different edge, I was like, I want more of that. I want more of this. So I lost a lot of friends. I learned how to say no. I'm not going
Mm.
out because I'm going to go work out.
Right.
And talk about living audaciously and boldly. I started doing insanity, and something popped up that you can become an insanity and fitness instructor. And I was like,
What is insanity? I'm not familiar with it.
so Sean T is the creator of it. It's a really hard workout program. It's a HIIT style workout program.
Okay.
And the whole idea of it is that you go as hard as you can for
Okay.
as long as you can. So whatever that means to you, like if that's 5 push-ups in a minute, then you do your 5 push-ups the best that you can do. Or if you can do 30 push-ups in a minute, then you go do that.
Mm,
And I started doing that program at home, and it came up that in my area that you could get trained to be a fitness instructor. And I was like, I am not the person to do this, but I'm going to put myself in that room and I'm going to grow, I'm going to stretch, and I'm going to see what this is all about. So I
mm,
became certified to teach insanity, and I started teaching locally out in California. And when fitness saved my life, I showed up one day. I had the stubbornness to be like, oh, I'm going to go party. I have to teach fitness tomorrow. I have to teach a class, but it's okay. Like, I'm strong. I can get through it. I showed up, and it was one of my biggest classes I've ever had. There was over
wow.
40 people in there, and I still smelled like booze. I was dying. It was horrible. And I lived right there. So I was walking home, and I was dead and just so over it with myself. I said, never again. Absolutely never again will I do that.
Mm, mm,
And that walk home, that was another like, I will never do that again. And from that moment on, everything changed. All my decisions changed. I got myself out of a deep, dark trench. I left a really horrible relationship. I moved, and then that kind of catapulted me into Spartans, which got me to ultra running.
mm. The trickle effect, you gotta love that, right? It's just like one thing after the other, and it's like almost like a domino effect, right? Like things,
It
how
is.
things fall into place.
Being aware too, and like not judging yourself. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I felt like crap that day for allowing myself to do that, but
Hmm.
you going to sit in that, or are you going to make a different move? Like, where is your self leadership? Like, we're the leaders of our own life. And in that moment, I felt a nudge that that's not my calling. This is my calling. And I don't care that I don't know what the next step is going to be, but I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to be courageous. And I don't have the confidence at all because I've never walked this path before. But once you take the step, then you find the confidence. And then you don't have the confidence for the next step, so you got to
Right.
tap the courage, and then it's the confidence. And it's just once you like get on that high, it's just a flow, and life just blossoms for you.
Yeah. And what you described, you're creating momentum. And I'm really glad that you made that point because, a lot of people feel that like, well, let me wait till I build up my confidence. Let me make sure. And then I'll go. Right. But
Yeah.
what you're clearly saying is no, 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 do the courage thing first. The confidence will come when it comes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tap into the courage. Confidence happens on the other side. Like, you don't do things because you're confident. Like, I'm scared to do a podcast, so I'm going to show up on a podcast, and that's just how life goes. Putting yourself in those situations, that's the only way you can grow and expand.
Well, okay. Question: whether it's an easy answer, or hard answer, is how do you do it then? Like like we're
Do
just do it,
it.
isn't it? We've heard that expression before. I'm
Do
sure we've heard it
it.
before, but you're right. It's just like just do it.
Have to practice. You have to trust in yourself. Like, I mean, we're just on this big rock spinning. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, are you going to spiral yourself down thinking of like, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, like for the next 20 minutes, I don't know if I can do this? Or like, why not spiral up and be like, what if this happens? Like, what if I did it? Like, I don't want to live in like the what if this happens negatively. My life is like, well, what if I do this and this happens? Like, how rad is that going to be? And then you just like, you keep on stacking that. And then once you stack one little piece of evidence, you're like, oh yeah, I remember when I did that. I could do
Yes.
this again. You remember
Yes.
when I did that? And that's like the whole cool thing about doing these ultra marathons, and like how the mountain like gives you so much. Because when I started out, I 1 mile in these mountains were so hard. Never in a million years did I think I was going to go run 100-mile race. It's still ahead. And now, like this next run, I'm pushing for the fastest known time. Like, who would have thought that? Like this girl who didn't even show up at her first 5K.
Right, right.
It's taking those just small little bits of evidence, holding on to them, and reminding yourself that you can do hard things. The obstacle is the way. So why not just go through it? It's a lot easier to go through it than just sit there and be like, oh, I don't
Yeah, yeah.
know.
Well, and the thing is, you can stand there forever wondering what if and maybe and I don't know and I'm not sure. And you know, and it's funny because and how I'm sure listeners might yourself. I know I've certainly done it where it's like, oh, that was easy. Like, oh, really? What was it? And you start going, what was I deliberating about all this time?
Right? I always like to use the analogy of laundry because, like, how often do we just sit there and stare at the basket of laundry? Like, I don't want to do it. And then it takes us literally 2 minutes. You're like, why did that sit there for 2 weeks? You know,
I put my
it's
hand
like
up.
that.
I will
Exactly.
put my hand up. That laundry basket's driving me crazy.
But if you look at your goals like that and like bite size them too, like you don't have to go from A to Z all at once. Like take these little small little nuggets and they're stepping stones. Like you don't just come out of the gate so hard. If you do, rock on, like yes, like go for it. But you have to understand that too, like be gentle with yourself and just have fun with it and expand in ways that like if your heart's calling you to do it and you have fear, then that means you're on the right path. Like
Mm.
listen to that. Like invite the fear in, let that be your friend. Like that is such a sign saying that you are doing it, like you're doing it right.
I love all of that. I love the fact that you refer to as evidence, and when we talk about sometimes we talk about failure, right? So we don't do things because oftentimes we're afraid of failing. And the way I look at it is like, okay, there's one or two things, and you sort of alluded to this already. Is like if you try something that you've never ever done before, chances are you're going to suck. That's just
Yeah.
let's put that out there, right? And give yourself some grace. But the other part about this is if you fail, you try something, you fail. Okay, now you know what not to do. You could succeed off the bat. That's great. That's what you want to do. But if
Dance and party.
there we go, hard. But if you try something and you're not successful, there's a few things that happen, right? You know what not to do next time. You know what does not work, and you might even figure out how to do it properly the next time you attempt it again. So is failing a bad thing? And I'd argue and say it's not. It's just an attempt. For actually, there's an acronym: first attempt in learning. That's what fail stands for.
Okay, I haven't heard that one, but yeah, failing, like you should be glad that you failed. It meant
Yeah,
that you did
because that means you
something good.
tried, right? It means that you tried.
Right. Yeah, like do you just want to sit on the couch for the rest of your life and like wonder, or do you want to get up and go? And through failing, you not just like learning like the object of like what you need to do, you're learning about yourself. Like you might have had to fail to strip away a layer. I
Right.
had my first DNF, which is did not finish,
Mm-hmm.
race this year. And talk about that was the hardest decision. I was at mile 82 of a 100-mile race.
Mm-hmm.
So I only had a little bit left
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
I was in first place female, and medically my lungs gave out. I couldn't breathe. Like there's a whole story, but I had to make that hard decision of like this is not safe anymore. I have to end this race.
Mm.
The learning that came through that, it was so hard in the moment, and yes, like I was so frustrated that I was so close to getting first place female in this really hard race that like that's all I wanted.
Yep.
And that almost catapulted me into another identity shift. Like, why did I want only first place? Like, what about the miles,
Ah.
the messy miles? Like, what did all of that mean? And that's when I really learned how to stop fighting and start thriving. And
Mm.
I wouldn't have had that realization if I didn't stop that race because I would
Right.
have got the
Right.
podium and it would have fed like more, and then it like would have the hamster wheel would have went this way instead of me stopping and being like, wait, let's hold on a little bit. What can we learn? What else can we strip away? What rawness can we get to so that I can be better in the next one.
I love that. And I think that's a beautiful analogy, that story of just like failing, right? That's what you did. You failed, right? In the grand scheme of things, but it was still, wonderful lessons that blossom from that. And even in the field of scientific field, right? You know, discoveries don't come on the first attempt. They go through some failures, and in fact, I think they invite the failures. Right,
Hmm.
scientists invite the failures because they want to see, okay, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Let's do trial number 99, and let's keep going,
Absolutely.
right? Because it's in those failures that you get the lesson. So it's not always about the end goal. We talk about that process, that journey, and I think that translates wonderfully into ultra running, right? It's the lessons that each mile that you go, mile by mile, you're learning along that way, and I think that's such a beautiful opportunity. But it depends how you frame it in your mind, right?
It is. Yep. It is all about the perspective. And it's again like the self leadership. Like, how are you going to show up in this situation? What meaning are you going to put behind this? Because you get to choose. Like, our thoughts are just, I mean, they're like clouds, like, they're just going through our heads every single day, every single moment.
Yeah.
So, which ones are you picking? Which ones are you holding on to? And that same thought can have two different meanings. So, you have to be extremely aware of what
Mhm.
you are focusing on.
Yep.
And if you catch yourself, and like this is when it gets to be like really fun because when you do this work, and this is what I teach my clients, when you start doing this work, you start to catch these thoughts quicker
Yeah.
and quicker.
Yeah.
At first, it's hard. It really
Yes.
is. Like you
Yes.
have to stop and think, like, okay, this is a thought that I'm having. What do I, but when you start doing it, you're just like, ah, yep, nope, nope, changing that, not today, not today. Okay, I want that one. Oh, heck yeah, I want that one. And your days just overflow in that abundance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Love
just
it.
strengthens you so much.
Tell me about the power of the nudge.
Oh, it is my favorite.
I think I
That
knew that. I knew that.
that is everything. Like that, when you have that heartstring, when you are being called to something, that like that didn't just get placed in you for no reason. And your nudge is going to be different than my nudge. And that is when our stories are like developed. And that's how you create your own story. We might have like similar nudges, but
Hmm.
you're going to go after this a little bit different. And that's when our personalities come out. And that's when we really get to create the life that we get to like crave daily. By listening to that, no matter if it's really big or really small, you
Hmm.
are living in the moment and you're facing a fear. You are on the edge of something incredible. Like that means like your toes are on the line if something's talking to you. And
Right.
once you like step over just a little bit and trust it and go for it, it's gonna be hard, but a new path is opening up for you. Like, how exciting is that? Like, just go
Beautiful.
for it. So many of my milestones came because I had this nudge and I was like, and it just wouldn't go away. And I'm like, it's here for a reason. I'm gonna make a big, bold move. I'm gonna be audacious. I'm gonna do this and I'm just gonna go for it. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't listen to those nudges. Absolutely not.
Do you have an example of a time that you sort of followed that gut nudge, if you will, and it sort of changed things drastically for you?
I think, I mean, ultra running was huge because
Yeah.
how I got into it. Well, first my friend dared me for the 50 miler.
Okay.
Um, and
You gotta love
then
those friends, eh?
they're great. They're great. Um, and I kind of took a break. I had a freak accident. I had multiple surgeries. So there was like a summer of me like recovering and stuff. And Spartans were kind of trickling open back up, but I was still kind of in recovering from surgeries. And I met a friend and she's like, hey, on Instagram, like we weren't even like friends in person. She was like, hey, I don't really know you very well. We started talking. She's like, but do you want to come out and crew and pace this race? And I'm like, absolutely. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds cool. I don't know you, but let's go do this. So I
I
went out
love
there
it.
and it was a 24-hour race. And up until then, like with Spartan races, I knew people ran. Like I knew like I trained. When I did that 50-mile race, I wasn't a runner. I had no idea what I was doing out there. Like I just put on a pack and like just started running. Like I that was not like my first trail running. It's all a
Right.
blur. Like it was nuts. Many stories from that race. Um,
Mm,
so I went out there not knowing anybody. I showed up and it's this 24-hour race where you see how many loops you can do in 24 hours.
okay.
And I was like, people run for 24 hours? Who are these people?
And what's wrong with them, right?
Like, what? I had no idea this was a thing.
Right.
So my world just got opened, and I was like, I want that. I don't know what you kids are doing. I don't know why, but I want that. And I met friends out there. I got involved in the trail running
Yep.
community. It's the same group of people who invited me on that big effort for the first time I had my aha moment of like, whoa, like it's time. If I'm going to be doing this, I don't want to live with this eating disorder anymore.
Right. Right.
That nudge of me meeting somebody like friend of a friend through Instagram, saying yes to go crewing and pacing, it's something I had no clue what it was. Me wanting more, not even knowing like what this 24-hour race was. I just wanted to feel it. Um, it that changed the whole trajectory of my entire life. Showing up on a podcast, I did a really hard race and I went on a podcast to do a race recap. And I walked in, it was an in-person studio, and I walked
Hmm.
in, I said, I have something huge to share with you today. I've never shared it before in my life. I'm going to speak about my eating disorder for the first time on your
Wow.
podcast. And she was
Wow.
like, what?
Wow.
That was a nudge. I knew on that podcast, that was the podcast that I was going to do it. And that was how I was going to release that. So
Beautiful.
those nudges in the little like spur of the moment can be so soft and like not mean much, but when you listen to them, they will transform and catapult you into quantum leaps that you have no idea what's coming for.
Wow. I love that. I love that. So looking back, I'd love to know if you were to um, give yourself, your younger self, advice. And that that young Teresa is still sort of trapped in that place of fear, and still trying to maybe and that, certainly as you mentioned, the identity wasn't there. It's that
Mhm.
loss of the identity of who you are is still missing. What would you tell her?
I would say the only, like, I do not regret my past whatsoever. It made me who I was. But if I did have one piece of advice, would be to speak up a little bit more and be
Hmm.
a little bit more courageous and not as fearful to talk about what you're going through because I did everything by myself. I didn't want anybody to know what I was going through. I lived like people are going to shade me. I had to put on this perfect persona. And if I could have broke just a little bit, like not all of it, but just a little bit, maybe I could have gotten here a little bit faster, without being stubborn and saying I could do this without anybody knowing.
That's a beautiful one. For someone who's maybe listening and they're at rock bottom and you know wondering, well, what would be the first bold step that they would take today?
Know that you're not alone. Just go ahead and like center that in. There's so many people who have felt the way that you felt and use that as a piece of evidence, like I was talking about. You can get out of hard situations. You have to tap into a deeper part of yourself, and that's where that courage lies. That's where that nudge lies. Um, the old limiting beliefs, knowing, just know that there's more out there for you. You just have to connect it, and it's already within inside of you. Like it's not all these external things. Like yes, there's like mindset work and journal stuff and like things
Yep.
that you can go do, but the real work is already in you and you already have the answers. So just sit with that and listen to your heart and take that first move, whatever that nudge is telling you to do, because that nudge is going to lead you to the next one and the next one and the next one.
We've gone back to the power of the nudge.
It is. It's so
Trusting,
strong. It's
trusting
so
your gut. I
strong.
love that. The one of the things that love asking my guests is how they define audacious living. And I'd love to hear your perspective on it.
It's bold self-leadership. Taking those big, bold, risky steps. And again, like you don't have to, like if that means one small little step for you today, that's the big bold move. Like the big bold move doesn't have to be this huge mountain every single day.
Right.
Climb the mountain. You're going to get to the summit. Like you just have to keep going. But when you live boldly, live in your truth, live in your most authentic self, life is going to open up. You're going to expand in such a way, and you will have, and it just always goes back to the courage to be audacious. Like it's a full circle. It's the full embodiment of what you are like trying to do. Like when you embody it and not
Yep.
just speak it, that's audacious.
I love it. I love it. Um, I gotta tell you, Teresa, this has been a great conversation, and we've had a lot of fun. But do you really want to have some fun now?
Always,
All right.
always.
How about, are you up for a little bit of quick rapid fire questions?
Ooh,
First
let's
thing that
go.
comes to your mind. Yeah, are you ready
All
for it? I think the competitor in you was always ready. I could tell.
right. I know.
So
Bring it
how about
on.
this? How about this? Trail run or treadmill?
Trail, always.
Your favorite mantra when the miles get hard?
When you think you can't, you can.
Oh, I like that one. Ooh,
Mhm.
I like that one. One fear that you faced that surprised you.
Bears.
Oh, really? You got to tell that one. Bears.
I am still, it's still a work in progress. I
Okay.
do not like bears out there, but I'm facing it.
Okay. I'm curious how you're facing these bears. That's a fear I'd rather not have to face, and I'm okay with that. Like
You just got to go out there and run.
best post meal for race.
Ooh,
Best post race meal.
that kind of depends on what time I get done, but a
Okay.
big old steak with eggs,
Ah.
absolutely, or a rotisserie chicken.
Okay. Okay. I can do with that. So I know you said trails, mountains or desert trails.
Mountains.
Okay. A book that changed your mindset.
Ooh, two right off the bat. Obstacles the way, and then Cameron Haynes' book Endure, I want to say it is, but Keep Hammering is yeah.
It's funny because you talked about obstacles being the way. So I hear that you mentioned that earlier. Who inspires you to be audacious?
Oh my gosh, so many people like the trail running community in general is just we just show up, and if it wasn't for them like living the audacious life, then I wouldn't have been so inspired to continue my own journey.
The list or tell me your favorite failure that became a gift.
Ooh, that's good. That's not the quick fire rapid one. That's a thinker. You got me on that one. My favorite failure. I think me just trying over and over and over again to release my patterns of addiction and my eating disorder.
Mhm.
I have so many times when I said, this is the last time.
Yep.
This is the last time. I'm never doing this again. And I failed, like it was a broken record, but every single time I got a little bit stronger. And through that is how I learned everything about myself. And that's why I'm here. So never given up.
Love it. I love it. For you, what is courage in one word?
Bravery.
Okay. Okay. And literally this as we were talking came to mind. What's harder, like 80 miles or 100 miles?
Well, it's funny, like the 80 miles is hard
Okay.
because you know that you only have like 20 more.
Okay.
And it's a joke in the running community. Like you can't train for those last 20 miles because you
Okay.
have no idea how you're getting, like if you make it
Right.
to 80, it's just get those last 20 miles in. And yeah, it's like you're on the road home, but you still have 20 miles to go. And it's just
Right.
like, oh my gosh. So
Yeah. Yeah.
excitement and hard.
Okay.
100 miles is hard. Yeah.
Okay. To me, they're both hard. That's just the bottom line. So, and then lastly, if it wasn't running, what would be your outlet?
Um, Still working out, the gym life.
Okay.
I would be like a pure gym rat. Yeah, back into like the functional fitness,
Gotcha.
Spartan, gym rat
Okay.
life.
Okay. Cool. Cool. I hope that worked for you.
It was great. Did I win? What's my prize?
You're always winning. Again, the competitor. What's the
It's
prize?
Friday.
You are on the podium. How's that? You definitely top spot on the podium. This is awesome. One thing we didn't mention and reference Project Untamed. I want to give you an opportunity to touch on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a new project that I am taking on. I just created a 100-mile route here in North Carolina, and it's all referencing like kind of what I was saying earlier, going back to your own backyard, your own heart, like what's already inside of you. I
Yep.
took some of my favorite trails. I connected them in such a way that's never been done before. It's a 100 miles, 24,000 feet of elevation gain, and I'm going to be forging the path for the first person to take on this, get the fastest known time. But I want to inspire others to chase it, to beat it, and to show up and show them that taking these steps of courage step by step, they can do hard things too. And I am partnering with Girls on the Run here in Western North Carolina to fundraise for them, because everything about embodiment, audacious living, courage, mindset, they teach these kids at a really early age through movement, through running. And it ties into like, I didn't have that. They're planting seeds now. So if we can
Mm,
show up and be leaders and show them what they can do at fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, then by all means, like I want to fully support that.
I love it. I love it. And again, the support you're offering is incredible, but the inspiration, step by step, mile by mile, for people, when people can see us make these journeys and make these steps, they don't need to know our history, right? I mean, that just adds a whole other layer to it and dynamic, but just knowing that, hey, this person is doing something that I thought I couldn't do, now they're doing it. That's a big deal. So congratulations on that. Fantastic work and the manner in which you're giving back, helping your clients, helping women specifically, so a breakthrough from those unstuck feelings, those moments of fear. It's just wonderful, wonderful work. For listeners, I want to connect with you directly, Teresa. Where can we send them?
The best place is Instagram. So Teresa Bowser _.
Cool. And we'll make sure that's accessible as well. Teresa, this has been great, delightful time together. Thank you. And I appreciate you for being a guest on the Audacious Living Podcast.
Thank you so much. This is amazing.
Back, we are here on the podcast, and wow, what an incredibly powerful and moving conversation with Teresa. One of the biggest takeaways for me was her reminder that adversity isn't something we simply survive, it's something we can grow through. Teresa beautifully illustrated how vulnerability can become our strength, and how the journey towards healing is rarely straight, but always meaningful. I really loved how she emphasized that transformation isn't about perfection. It's about presence, about showing up honestly, about choosing courage again and again, even when the path feels uncertain. If you'd like to connect with Teresa directly and continue to be inspired by her journey, you can find her on Instagram at Teresa Bowser _. Make sure you show her some love and support. As we close out, let's return to that mountain analogy, because each step upward, each challenge faced, each moment of doubt or overcome, they all will contribute to who we are becoming. And remember, this is a powerful way to move forward in life. If you haven't shared this episode, please, we encourage you to do so. Like, follow, subscribe, tell a friend, let them know what we're here to do on this podcast. It's really about encouraging audacity. And that's, of course, if you haven't already done so. We certainly appreciate everything that you folks do to continue to grow this community. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, show love to one another, and be audacious.
Driven by purpose, fueled by passion. My words got power, my thoughts have action. Motivation, stay gracious. That's greatness, be audacious.